Hello, students. I hope you are all fine and you are all in good health. You also got your syllabus as well as your date sheet for your midterm examination. Now, in this audio presentation, once again, I am revising the chapter Ranga's Marriage. So, let's start. Now, before I go into the main text, let me analyze and let me discuss a bit related with the intro part. Ranga, the accountant's son, is one of the rare breed among the village folk who has been to the city to pursue his studies. When he returns to his village from the city of Bangalore, the crowd mill around his house to see whether he has changed or not. His ideas about marriage are now quite different, or are they? Now, this is the intro related with the main story, what we are about to get information from reading the chapter. This is the gist of that. Now, let us come to the main text. One thing is very clear by now, Ranga is the main character. When you see this title, some of you may ask, Ranga's marriage. Why not Ranganatha Vivaha or Ranganatha Vijaya? Well, yes, I know I could have used some other mouth-filling one like Jagannatha Vijaya or Girija Kalyana. But then, this is not about Jagannatha's victory or Girija's wedding. It's about our own Ranga's marriage, and hence no fancy title. From the very beginning, the author made it clear to us that he could have used some other title. But since it is related with the story which dealt with the marriage of the local boy Ranga, so the author decided to use a very simple title without using any fancy title, and so the title being used by him is Ranga's Marriage. Now, dear students, I already told you previously when actually I did this chapter with you all that the style of writing of Masti Venkatesha Iyengar is a bit different. Different in the sense that he is eager to undertake a conversation with the reader or readers, because every time we feel like he is actually involved in a conversation with us. Here also, as if we are sitting in front of him and he is talking with us. So we can say that the technique of this particular story is written in a very different manner. It is written in a conversational tone. So let me continue. Hosahalli is our village. You must have heard of it, no? What a pity! But it is not your fault. There is no mention of it in any geography book. So Hosahalli is the name of the village, and according to the author, that it is not our fault if we haven't heard of this place because it is not mentioned in any geography book. Those Sahibs in England writing in English probably do not know that such a place exists and so make no mention of it. The author is trying to say that maybe the foreigners, they hardly knew that a place like Hosahalli do exist, since they had no information about this place. So that is the reason they haven't included this place in the map, and so Hosahalli is not present in the geography book. So let me continue. Our own people to forget about it. You know how it is. They are like a flock of sheep. One sheep walks into a pit, the rest blindly follow it. When both the Sahibs in England and our own geographers have not referred to it, you cannot expect the poor cartographer to remember to put it on the map, can you? And so there is not even the shadow of our village on any map. Now, the author, he is trying to convince us related to this absence of Hosahalli from the map of India by saying that it is not the fault of the cartographer, because the foreigners, what they have instructed, the rest of the Indians, they followed it. So the person who is involved in designing the map, that is the cartographer, he should not be blamed for it, because as he was instructed, he followed the instruction of the British Sahibs. So dear students, now I am moving on to the next paragraph. Sorry, I started somewhere and then went off in another direction. Now, he is apologizing to his readers by saying that his main intention was to discuss about Ranga's marriage, but he went on in discussing about his village, Hosahalli. So I repeat, sorry, I started somewhere and then went off in another direction. If the state of Mysore is to Bharatvarsha what the sweet Karigadabu is a traditional sweet, and it is filled with coconut and jaggeries, and it is a very traditional sweet of South India. So I am repeating this term. If the state of Mysore is to Bharatvarsha what the sweet Karigadabu is to a festive meal, then Hosahalli is to Mysore state what the filling is to the Karigadabu. Now, Karigadabu is actually a sweet that is mixed with coconut and sugar. Now, without coconut and sugar, Karigadabu has no flavor and no taste. Similarly, if Hosahalli is taken out from Mysore, then Mysore will have no significance at all. So he is comparing the significance of Hosahalli with that of the fillings of Karigadabu, that is coconut and sugar or jaggeries, as I told you earlier. When what I have said is absolutely true, believe me, I will not object, that means I will not protest to your questioning it, but I will stick to my opinion. And what is his opinion? His opinion is that just like in Karigadabu, coconut and sweet or sugar is essential ingredients. Similarly, Hosahalli is a very important part of Mysore. If Hosahalli is excluded or not mentioned at all, then the Mysore state will have no significance at all. Now, dear readers, if you believe, then obviously you are with him. If you don't, still the author had nothing to say to you, because he feel like what he is saying is absolutely right and he wanted to stick to his own opinion, or we can say he wanted to stick to his own viewpoint. Now let me continue. I am not the only one who speaks glowingly of Hosahalli. We have a doctor in our place. His name is Gundabhatta. He agrees with me. He has been to quite a few places. No, not England. If anyone asks him whether he has been there, he says, "No, Anna, I have left that to you. Running around like a flea pestered dog is not for me. I have seen a few places in my time, though. As a matter of fact, he has seen many. Now, all of a sudden, we get to know about another character in the middle of the story, and that person is the local village doctor by the name of Gundavatta. Now, he traveled to many places, but the author strictly made it clear to us at the very beginning only when he talked about Gundavatta that he haven't went abroad. He went to many places within India. And when the author inquired that why haven't you went to other places outside India, then he told the author that he left those places for the author to visit. And to be very honest, the author is trying to convince to his readers that Gundavatta actually went to many places. So, if you closely follow the storyline till now that I explained from the text, you will find that the main topic of discussion was actually related with Ranga's marriage, but it seems that he diverted from the main topic. He talked a bit regarding Hosahalli. Now he is talking a bit regarding Gundavatta. And his mode of writing or the storytelling format is in a bit of conversational mode, as if he is initiating a conversation with his dear readers. So, dear students, I will stop my audio presentation right here. In my next audio presentation, I will continue from the next paragraph. Please listen to this audio, and if there is any doubt, kindly clarify. Thank you, students. Thank you all.